everyone. Today we are going to explore stress and anxiety in everyday life, and we're going to focus on stress and understand what is stress, when did it start, who did you receive it from, how can we overcome that? Because stress can create illnesses, diseases, and it takes a lot of energy. It's draining you. So when your mind was born, people want peace of mind. It's so hard to have peace of mind that the mind will not chat, right? You hear the chatter of the mind. Close your eyes for a second and listen to your mind. Even think about things you need to do, right? We need the mind. Listen to the voice in your head. Do you hear it in a man voice or a woman voice? Take your time. Listen to this voice that tells you what to do, what you need. Not only negative, it can bring also stress. Do you recognize that you think in your own voice? Yes, men think in man voice, woman in woman voice, and we are on, basically we're thinking in our own voice, right? It's not about gender, it's about voice. So how come we're not using the vocal cord, but inside our head there is the mind thinking in your own voice, because the mind wants you to believe that you are the mind, but you are not the mind. We need the mind. The mind needs to be our tool, but somehow it became our master. And people say, I don't have peace of mind. I'm in vacation, I'm in a tropical beach, I'm enjoying myself, I want to relax. And the mind wants to think about work, about relationship, about love, about the future, about things you need to do when you come back. Vacation is a good time to rest, and people like it because sometimes when it's adventurous, the mind can relax. You learn about new things, the new cultures, and the mind is quiet. And this is why people want vacation, and they live from vacation to vacation. But I want you to think about yourself, and I hope that for today you brought a journal and a pen, because we are going to do real work here. Now, I'm doing this work with people for 26 years, and we explore the mind basically. Why, after so many years of practice, people come to me after many years of practice, talk therapy, all kind of beautiful work that they did. The mind is still there, critical and sometimes blaming and stressing you very much. So I want you to try to come back to a place in your childhood, an age that you didn't have stress at all. Do you remember that? No stress, not too much thinking, being in the moment. Maybe you remember you being in nature, playing with other friends, or being safe in your own home. Maybe you had those glimpses, or maybe you had those years of really peace and quiet and safety, and the mind wasn't there. Then what happened? And soon I will talk to the people that answered. My mind was always there. If you are this person, wait a second, I will talk to you as well. But let's say you do remember before and after. It's really important. I want you to write in your journal the answer. Or the answer, it was always there, or the answer until the age of 6, 4, 12, 2, you had peace of mind. And then what happened? And you will discover that what happened is that you felt a sense of fear. You didn't feel safe. And the reasons can be so many. It can be bullying at school, something happened at home, parents divorce, you move a country, you need to learn a new language, something happened to you that you felt fear or sadness. And then the mind was born, the protector was born, it was needed. Okay, for you guys that said it was always been there, it means that one of the parents are very mindy or critical, or scary or stressed, and your parent already brought the stress into your life since the moment you've been held by one of your parents, and the energy passed. And also not only the energy, but the state of mind of life is dangerous, or you need to be careful, you need to over prepare. You have a test tomorrow, you have that, oh my gosh, the first day in the kindergarten, I don't know what will happen. If you had a stressed parent, of course You will start to be stressed since you remember yourself, right? So I want you now to think about your parents. So in your journal, that you will not really have a lot of time to journal during this time together today, but you can do it later. One page I want to talk about, when did it start? And people that do have a memory or an age, so I want you to elaborate later and to write about it and to journal, to understand yourself. It's so important to understand the journey of your soul. So you understood that there was a moment that the mind came to life, and it was needed because you are alone, because your parents were depressed or sick or busy, because you went to school, you didn't know the language, because something happened to you and you had to protect your heart and your feelings. And it's really helpful to understand that, because then you're more compassionate to your mind as well. Sometimes it's very hard. People say, I cannot stand it anymore. Okay, you're right. It's not easy not to have peace of mind, but also let's understand the journey that your mind went through. It's you basically, right, as a child. So if it's one of the parents, also write about that. And even if you want a different memory, I wanted to think a little bit about the parents. And the mindset is not about the past. I'm starting in the past because it started there. But the mindset in my work with people is more the present. How can we influence the future? Okay. But just for the beginning, of this journey, to really go back and to understand. So think about your dad. Some people are just calm. He had a job interview, had some presentation at work, you had to move an apartment or a home or a city. What was the level of stress, right? Even going to a trip, packing, unpacking, preparing. What was the level of stress? Do you recognize that your dad was stressed before or was calm? Yeah. Some people are calm. Okay, the next day will come. Everything will be all right. They have it built in, right? Your mom, was she relaxed, smiled, even with big challenges or small challenges, when things changed, right? And so many, when you live with your parents, so many things are happening, right? It's not stagnant. Somebody's getting sick. You need to move. Something is happening in their work, between them. What was the stress level at home? So I want a second page. I want you to write about that, especially if your first page was about your first memory or another subject that brought your mind into action. Okay, just to understand, and we call it the imprint. Imprints that we receive as kids, that I want to believe that kids and babies are pure. We are coming to this life clean. I want to believe that, even though sometimes you've seen as small baby things that are not usual and not healthy, and unfortunately. But let's say you're born clean, and then you're like looking around, right? And you're learning about life. Should I be stressed? Should I be happy? Should I love people? Should I trust other people? You learn about yourself. You learn about love, if it exists or not. And usually you look at your parents' mirror, your mom and your dad, or two mom, two dad, or sometimes grandparents. And then your personality is being built and created by many, many tradition, according to psychology as well, until the age of 6. And then basically your personality is already alive. So what happened to you around stress? What did you learn about stress? Sometimes it's not from the parents, it's from a sibling. A stress. Now, what is stress? Because for now, we didn't talk about anxiety at all. Next time, we'll talk about anxiety more. I will talk about the difference between stress and anxiety, but let's talk only about stress for a second. When people use the word stress, they can use it also about the next day. Oh my gosh, I have something important at work. I have a blind date tonight. Things like that is going to happen in the next 2 days and today. Or things about the future. I don't know if I'll get married or not. I don't know if I'll have money or not. I don't know, how will I die? The long-term future. Stress in our language for now going to be about tomorrow, about today, about the next 2 days. And some people over prepare. Think about yourself as in grade school, in high school. Did you prepare a lot for tests? right? Some people prepare until the last moment, or interview for high school if you had, or anything new, some presentation you had to give in 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade. How much you prepared before that? Even a field trip, packing, unpacking, checking, the list, how much stress you had. And this is about the near future. It means today, tomorrow, the next day. Why some people are so relaxed, right? And probably the relaxed people are not here with us, today. And some people are so stressed. What's the difference between that person that is relaxed and the person that is stressed? I want you to think about it for a second. What a person that is relaxed have that the person that is stressed don't really know, don't really have. So I will tell you, it's the self-trust, right? When you do something new, riding a bike, going to an interview, people can be stressed about small things as well. New job, it's not small. If people trust themselves, if you trust yourself, I'll wake up in the morning, I'll brush my teeth, I will drink and eat something, it will be okay. I'm bringing myself. I prepared, I learned about the company before the job interview, but it's me here. Hi, it's me. I'm okay. I can trust myself. People that are stressed, they don't trust themselves. They don't really trust themselves. And this is why the stress, how will I be safe? Will I be okay? Will I be accepted? Will I be denied? Will I be rejected? And usually it comes out of lack of self-confidence and out of fear. So this is why I ask you to journal about when is the first time you felt fear, because it is connected. You felt fear. You felt alone, not safe, not protected, bullied maybe, or just it was noisy at home, or something that was too much for a child, just too much. And then stress was born. Now, not for everyone that the mind became strong, the symptom is stress. Okay, some people the symptom is self-criticism or self-blame or other thing, or anxiety or other things. Okay, but today we are talking about stress, so we're going to focus on that. So we talked about what is stress, right? When did it start? We talked about what kind of triggers can bring stress. We talked about the early imprints, right? And now I want to talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. So when I say anxiety, I mean about the long-term future. Usually people have anxiety and anxiety attack about the long-term future, the unknown. It's so hard for the mind not to know. We don't know. We read so many things in the news, bad things that can happen. We know about bad things that can happen, and we really don't know what will be with us. So people that have anxiety, comparing to people that are calm about the long-term future, it's again trust. But this time it's trusting the universe, the great spirit, nature, existence. You can call it as you want. And this will be next time. I will talk about anxiety more. And this is why I'm separating between stress and anxiety. And another separation I want to make is between the mind and the heart. Okay, so we talked about early childhood. Kids, small kids, when they call it in dream world, when they're safe and they're happy and they're in the heart. They feel that everybody are friends, they feel connected, they feel alive, they're creative, they're full of life, they're excited, they're not anxious, they're not stressed, and they're not afraid. And then something happened, right? We wrote about it a little bit, only the title, but we'll write about it later if you're willing to do it. And then the mind took over, the protector, and the heart was suppressed. And then we started to have those symptoms of stress, of anxiety, of belittling, of blame, of suffering. Okay, so and the most important thing, we lose freedom. We lose freedom sometimes to dance freely, to cry freely, to be, to explore, to connect, to fall in love, many things. I'm too fast, right? So I'm excited about that, by the way, because this is my work for so many years and I see how the work can help. I'm going to give you many practices in between during those weeks that can really change your life. So it's going to be a meaningful journey. And I'm going to pour everything that I know in this journey. So please, please pay attention. So the mind became strong and the heart is suppressed and it's starting to boil. We start to feel things that are more negative, right? Not happiness and joy and all that. We start to feel anger. When somebody takes a freedom from us, we feel angry. I remember my daughter, like around a year ago, told me, I'm very angry at you. And she was really angry, not only saying it politely. She knows how to scream and shout. And I said, why? He said, because you tell me what to do. I don't want you to tell me what to do. Now, it's not easy, right? She needs to brush her teeth. She needs to do her homework. She needs to set up her bed in the morning. There are a lot to do. She needs to, to eat healthy food, not to eat a lot of candies. How can you raise kids without telling you what to do? And then she said, just tell me brushing teeth. Don't tell me you need to brush your teeth or go to brush your teeth. Don't tell me fall asleep now, it's late. Ask me, your eyes are closed. So she taught me not to tell her what to do. But this was an amazing example of when somebody takes our freedom and we are free spirit and we feel angry. Okay, so what happened to you? Do you recognize that you felt a little bit of anger when the mind became strong? If you didn't feel anger, you felt sadness, right? And if you didn't feel anger, it means that it wasn't allowed to show anger at your home. Many times, parents, it's okay for them to shout, but not for the kids, or it's not okay to shout at all. And then the anger is boiling into sadness, and the sadness into depression and despair during the years. So the mind's strong, we want to change that. On the other hand, we need the mind, right? It's practical, efficient, reminding us what we need to do when we wake up in the morning, reminding us our schedule. And we need a tool that's called mind. It's organized, right? We need that. And I'm talking about that separately. It can be strange to you because I want you to understand you have different parts inside you. Many spiritual teachers are saying you are not your mind, right? You are not your mind, but you're also not your heart. We have also a lot of emotions are going and coming and going, right? So we understand so that the mind and the heart. Now we're coming back to stress and anxiety. I told you I will talk about the difference between stress and anxiety. So stress is the mind, right? Overthinking. When you think about something too much, you are stressed. But there is no reason to think so much, really, unless you have a project, something creative you need to think about, or you need to organize. Sometimes at your work, you need your mind and you need to think about things. But over and over to think about things, it's not needed, and it creates for sure stress. So stress is coming from overthinking, while anxiety is more emotional. It's more like the big questions, wow, what will happen in the future, right? And we don't know. So it's more emotional. So trusting life, universe, and nature is more emotional, while trusting yourself is more the thoughts. And this is easy to change. It'll be okay. You know why? Because I'm there. Yeah. So I want you to really start to work with stress. And now we are going to move a little bit to a practical tool you can start to work with. So first of all, it's really important how you go to sleep at night, because stress is about the next day. What do you say to yourself before sleep? Do you stress yourself about tomorrow? Right? And sometimes it's not in your hand, right? You want to be calm, you know everything, but part of you is stressed, right? And there is thoughts running and you just don't know what to do. And then you feel the body, also is very tight and tense, and it's not healthy. So we can work with that. The first thing we want to do is to decide about a rhythm. What are you going to do before bed? It's so important. Everything you read or watch before bed will crawl into your dreams, will influence your sleep. What do you say to yourself? There are a few small tips I will give you about the night. Next time we'll talk also about the morning and other things we can do during the day. So in the night, one option is to create a mantra, something that you say to yourself every night. Some people are very creative with words and they don't need that. They just know how to talk to themselves like you talk to a child. Think about a child. If you are a parent or you are babysitting a child, or just imagine you're putting a child to bed. What you will say to this child? Probably something very nice, right? Good night, sweet dreams. Maybe, something soft. You will not tell to them, why didn't you do cleanup? I hope not. Why didn't you do homework? You're rude today. Good night. So start to talk to yourself as somebody you love. Even fake it until you make it. So if you're good with words, you don't need the mantra. But if sometimes you forget or you don't know how to talk to yourself in that way, maybe you didn't have a parent that is talking to you like that. So then write something, 3 sentences you can say to yourself before bed. And you can think it's very personal, right? So I wanted the third page in the journal to start to play with sentences. You really talk to yourself, not out loud that your partner or people around will not think you are, but inside, right? To talk to yourself is so healthy in a positive self talk. And then you say, good night, sweet dreams, ideas to dream about, something positive. I don't like so much scanning the day, because scanning the day, it's like a trap a little bit, because then the mind will say, oh, you didn't do that. Why didn't you do that? Like it's a trap for self-blame. But maybe just think about something that, is beautiful for you. Maybe imagine a place that you really love. If you have, a specific beach or a hike or something you love with somebody you love, in your life. So just to decide, the third page will be to really think about what you're going to say to yourself before bed. The second thing I wanted to try is breath work, a little bit of breath work before bed. And this you can do also with your kids. It's any age, it's good. I start with my kids when I'm really young, you know, just to come back to the body, right? And put a hand on the chest and breathe 3 small, really deep breaths to the chest. Inhale and exhale. Relax your shoulders. And inhale and exhale to the chest. And see that the chest is coming up and down. And relax your shoulders. And the third one, inhale and exhale. And then you do also 3 breaths to the belly. And this time you don't do it a little bit differently. You take a deep breath to the belly and you see that the belly is coming out. And you hold your breath. And when you hold your breath, listen to the sounds. And exhale, relax your shoulders. And inhale and stop. And listen to the sounds. And exhale. And third time, inhale, pause, hold your breath, listen to the sound. And usually by the time you're in a third or fourth breath, you're already yawn and you understand that you are really tired. Because when we are in our mind, we are not tired also. We don't know we are tired, because the mind can think and think and think and can wake you up in the night. But you are tired, your body is tired, but we are not connected to the body. So to really breathe like that will bring you back to the body. And then you'll, oh, I'm tired, right? So it's really, really good. First words, very comforting and positive words, not letting the mind bring the old stuff or not thinking about tomorrow anymore, and breath. Many times before you start all this ceremony, I want you to write things you need to do tomorrow. When you start to meditate, and I call it meditation, anything you do with intention, that you stop your regular chatter, it's meditation. Before you start this ceremony of meditation, take your schedule and write things you need to do. If not, it will come. The mind is coming to remind you out of stress and fear that you'll forget. Or maybe you need to prepare, or it's out of fear. So basically to write, right? To write the things you need to do, all the things that your mind is telling you, it's really good. So you can write a page even, not a lot, whatever you have, like book. You're throwing everything on the paper. It's like if there is, loops of thoughts, you open a door, boom, you put it on the paper, and then you are done. Then you can move into, positive affirmation, talking to yourself nicely, and then you move into the breath. and then you fall asleep. Okay. If you didn't fall asleep yet, the fourth thing you can do is to put nice music, calm music, and to fall asleep with that. It's good to listen to something else. Sometimes the sounds are enough to bring us to the present and calm us down. Sounds that are here in your life, before falling asleep. And sometimes you want music because you don't have a lot of sounds around or because the mind is really strong in that day. So it's good to put soft music. In Spotify, you can really Google meditation music, sleep music, something slow, and then you go with that and you fall asleep. It's really better to do those stages than to watch a movie or to read a book sometimes, unless it's a positive book. But if it's a book that there is like too much tension, it will also influence your dreams. So today we talked about stress. And for me, when I started to meditate and I reached peace of mind, it was very hard for me to understand how did I survive without that. Like no matter what's happening in life, no matter how many challenges and how many things to do and how many new things and changes and shifts, I have this capability to stop my mind and rest. And this rest in the gap between the thoughts, you receive. You receive healing, you receive energy, and you're calm, and it's beautiful. So I have a lot of practices that I give and I will give in this journey in order to find this gap between the thoughts, to dive into this moment and enjoy. And then it will be a tool for you for life that you can really charge yourself no matter what's happening outside. So we talked about stress, the origin of stress. I hope it will continue journaling. We talked about the difference between stress and anxiety. We talked about the evening rituals. And this is it for today. And I hope you'll practice all of that, that you'll explore and investigate a little bit your past in order to understand yourself. And then as also you realize that this machine that we have, that we use, this tool that called mind, that sometimes is bothering you and overthinking and stressing you and judging you, we need this tool to be efficient and practical and young and curious and creative, but we can learn how to use the tool and how to calm all the rest and clean the stress and clean the negative thoughts from our life and then from our body. Thank you so much for coming, and I will see you soon.